Hey guys, Tom Savage here. Just want to say first, thank you very much for buying my game Grimoire Quest. This is a little video I wanted to put together for you to just kind of, almost like I'm inviting you into my home to teach you how to play the game the first time. So hopefully I'll be able to answer a lot of questions. Instruction booklets are detailed, but sometimes it just takes a little you need a little layman's conversation to kind of make things make sense quickly. So I want to treat this video as if I'm in your home, you're sitting around me, and I'm showing you guys all how to play the game for the first time. Use this in addition to the other instruction videos to that kind of detail and explainer thing. So here we go. Down you go. Alright, so step one, open the game. You can use the playing mat if you wish. It's just decorative, of course. A little nice treat for everyone who backed in Kickstarter. Alright, take a minute to go over the instruction booklet. One thing I want you to just take 1 minute, and if you need to pause the video right now to do that, this would be a good time to do it. I want you to just become familiar with the main symbols that you will find on page 5. So check these out, get familiar with the terms, and the rest should go pretty smooth for you, okay? So if you need a pause, go ahead and do that now. Okay, so if this is your first time playing the game, the cards come pre-shrunk wrap, and take a minute, look them over, get familiar, identify the 3 major decks. There's the narration deck. You can put that right in the middle. There are the character relics, which look like these, and they've got the same image on the back but in a sepia tone. So separate all of those. There's a narrator card. This is essentially just a marker to help you keep track of who started the round. And then there's your action cards. That is the rest of the deck. All the cards that have this brown back with the Grimoire logo on the back. And these are everything from your basic attack cards to your master Grimoire Pages. These are very important. Your spells, your instant cards, your special or all kinds of special attack cards for that are Grimoire oriented only. So anyway, this is the real problem people have the first time playing. Is this is a big deck? You know, there's 300 cards in this game. I think 210 of those roughly are action cards. That's a solid deck. If this is your first time playing, you really need to shuffle very, very thoroughly. I recommend taking the decks, spreading it apart with other players, each person cutting, shuffling for multiple minutes, cutting them back and forth, swapping half your deck. Because no matter how long you think you're shuffling or how good of a shuffler you think you are, with a deck this large, you're bound to have similar cards, even if it's just 2 or 3 in a row, stuck together, and that could be a real drag in the first game if it's not evenly spread out and divided. Because these come packaged. You guys. So especially if this is your first time playing, it's a big deck. It doesn't matter how good you are at shuffling, you really gotta divide these up, because it doesn't take a lot for 3 or 4 of the exact same type of cards to all be stuck together near each other, especially Grimoire Pages, which you don't want to give someone an unfair advantage by drawing 3 cards and they draw 3 Grimoire Pages right at the bat and they're having a huge head start in the game. So really shuffle it really good. I recommend even kind of stacking it a little bit. Taking the Grimoire Pages, separating them, breaking up the spells into the decks, and then shuffling them. It's not a bad idea. There's a lot of cards, okay? So really can't stress that enough. Shuffle the cards. Okay, so you got the game set up. You can set the box aside. I like to use sometimes to store discarded cards. Instruction booklet. Next, everyone chooses which wizard they want to play as. You have 6 options: the shadow, the light, the water, the fire, the earth, and the sky. And each player has 6 pages of relics, which are their main defenses. Each one has a Roman numeral in the corner, determining the value of that relic and essentially the strength. What you can do is you lay these out in front of you. It does not matter what order you put them in. just as long as they are visible. Face them color side up with the Roman numeral facing. essentially this is your defense wall. This is a 2 to 6 player game. I recommend a minimum of 3. It works with 2 players. It's just the flavor doesn't come out until 3 though. 2, you're pretty much just attacking each other, and hopefully you're having the better cards and you're playing the right spells to defend yourself and whatnot. It's not quite the same as when you have to strategize which person's your best shot at attacking or breaking down, or who has things you want, etc. Okay, so I don't know how many more times I can do this with you, kid. Okay, so as I'm explaining the game, I will choose to be the first narrator. It doesn't matter who you pick, just basically pick someone to start the game. Take the marker, lay it in front of you, lay it beside you, put it somewhere so everyone kind of can tell who started the round. Okay? Next, everyone draws 5 cards from the deck. Doesn't matter which pile you take from. Whatever you think might be the lucky lottery. Pull 5 cards. Take a look at them. Don't start doing anything until a narrator begins the round. Okay? It's really important in this game to be patient, especially the first time. Let things go in an organized fashion, always starting with the narrator. So when everyone has a chance to look at the cards, the narrator should always dictate and talk about if there's anything that needs to be taken care of before we begin. Main thing, before we read a narration card, does anybody have an instant card that has to be played? If so, if there's more than one person that has an instant card, always start with the narrator and work left. If the narrator has an instant card, he will play that card and everyone will take action, even if it involves shuffling or discarding other instant cards. If that's the case, they don't get played. Okay? So, in this situation, I have no instant cards, so I turn to the person on my left. Any instant cards to declare? No, no, no. Excellent, let's move forward. Next, once that's established, the narrator will begin by reading the narration card. Stones rain down on you from a hill. You look up to see the street orphans of Warthen pelting you with stones. The Shadow Wizard loses 1 page of Grimoire to the player on their right. It's a little early in the game, no one has any Grimoire, and actually the Shadow Wizard's not even playing this round, so nothing really needs to be taken and laid down. No special actions need to happen, so we move on. So, again, as the narrator, I begin with what's called the spell round. Every player has the opportunity to cast 1 spell per round. So you have to choose from your spells carefully. Some spells specify when you can play them. They'll say you can play them before the round begins, and what that means is by the attack round, or you can play them defensively during the game, during the attack round. If someone attacks you, you can use it then, or you can use it as your move. Okay, so just pay attention to what they say. They're all worded pretty clear. So, I will look at my cards and decide if I have any spells I wish to start to play. And I do. I have the Defense 2. It says play before the start of an attack round, stop at least 2 attacks. So I'm going to play this as my spell choice for this round. This defends me from 2 attacks from other players from this round. Okay? So, what we like to do when there's cases where there's 1 or 2 actions, in this case it's 2 attacks, we like to leave anything that's worth 2 rounds or 2 turns sideways, and then we horizontally speaking, and we rotate them as they get used up. So if someone attacks me, I turn it one side, signaling that I've been attacked once, and there's 1 attack remaining on this card of defense. After that, the spell is broken, and a 3rd player would be available to attack me. In this case, there's only 2 other players against me, so I'm pretty good for this round. I'm pretty much immune. I'm going to play that, and I'm going to draw a new card. Notice nobody else has taken an action yet until I finish. I examine my new card, making sure I didn't draw a new instant play card, and everything looks good. And I turn to my next player, and I ask them if they have any spells they wish to cast. Yes, no, so forth and so on. Each one taking their turn and completing their turn before the next person begins. So definitely exercise patience, read your cards carefully, especially if this is your first time, you're getting to learn things. Don't jump to conclusions when a card reads, read it how it's worded. A lot of times that'll let you know if you're jumping the gun and playing something you can't play yet. Okay? So we've all completed the spell round. Now the attack round begins. Again, always starts with the narrator. I choose from my deck a card that is valid to attack somebody. How do you know which cards you can attack people with? On every attack card, there's a large icon next to the attack name. There's a symbol next to it. That symbol means that is that wizard's specialty attack. In this case, it's a Shadow Wizard. This card cannot be used to attack a Shadow Wizard. He is immune to any card that has his icon in the top corner. That goes the same if you have, for instance, a Fire card with the same symbol. I cannot play this on the Fire Wizard. It's worthless on him in every situation. It is, however, valid on anybody else. Okay? And it's worth, it'll tell you the hit value down in the corner. There will be a Roman numeral. That lets you know how many points it'll take away from a relic to work at destroying it and weakening their defenses. Okay? So in this case, let's go back to my Shadow attack card. It's worth a value of 1 hit. And this is good on anyone here because the Shadow Wizard's not playing, so I can attack anybody with this. In addition to that, you will find that almost every card has a second symbol next to the Roman numeral. Not every card, but most of them. This indicates a weakness on another wizard. So in this case, it's the Sky Wizard symbol, the little gray wind swirl. So that means that this 1-point card actually will do double if you use it on the Sky Wizard. Okay? So it's worth 1 hit on everybody else, but if you play against the Sky Wizard, it is worth 2. That goes the same if this was a 2-point or a 3-point card. It would be double. If it was a 3-point card against the Sky Wizard, it would be worth 6 hits on one of his relics. How do we know when we play a double value card? Same thing as before. When we play a hit on somebody for the face value of the card, in this case 1, you lay it even with their relic, like so. If you do it and it's worth double the value, you would lay it sideways. That way everyone knows this card was worth double, so as they add them up, they know to count this as 2. Okay? So, I will play that attack actually on that relic as 1 point, and I will draw a new card. Once again examining, make sure I don't have any instant cards. I do not. My attack round is complete, and the opportunity moves to the next player on my left. And this continues and so forth and so on. Now I want to discuss about breaking relics and also what's known as permanently breaking a relic. Breaking a relic involves placing enough points to equal or exceed the value of the relic. In this case, this relic is only worth 2 points. It only takes 2 attack hits to break it. Now, 2 valid attacks, let's pretend this one's worth 1 point too, and it is actually, have been played and have broken the card. When it's broken, these are removed, discarded. The card is then turned over, indicating that it has been destroyed. Now, there are certain cards that come up and certain spells and activities you'll find on cards that allow you to restore certain relics. You can choose when to play those based on the information on that card. There's all kinds of different situations where you can do that. So it gives you a chance to restore these and undo that damage and regain your defense. However, you'll find on some cards, like when this we mentioned this Dragon Floss card, this one's worth 2 points, so this is the only thing I would need to do to have broken that relic or a similar one. However, if you notice a little Grim Reaper symbol in the corner, which if you looked over the instruction booklet, that refers to a mortal wound attack. It is a much stronger attack. If you play this as the final move into a relic, not a standard one, but if it breaks the relic with a card that has this symbol, you will have done what is known as permanently breaking the relic. Which means this relic comes out of the game and at no point whatsoever in any circumstance can it be restored and brought back into gameplay. It is gone. Okay? Which now leaves the person at a much larger disadvantage. They don't have the ability to regenerate that relic and regain it as a future defense. So these are rarer, but they are useful, and you want to try and balance how you want to play these on certain people. Again, it wouldn't work on the Fire Wizard though in this case. Well, just for demonstration purposes, we played it, but because it's a fire symbol, even though it's a more powerful one, can't use it on this guy. But I could use it on the Earth Wizard's relic, which is worth 2, and permanently break that relic out of the game. Cool? Okay, hope that makes sense. So now you've gone through the game a couple rounds, some neat things have happened, some fun activity, people discovered Grimoire cards. and the game's shuffling on a little bit. Let's say in this case I'm not doing so hot. All of my relics have been attacked and broken. My last one broke, flipped over. Maybe a couple were permanently broken. Let's just pull those out for argument's sake. So I've got my last 4. They're all turned over. They've all been broken. Am I out of the game? I am not. At this moment, I am not out of the game. This is what's known as being defenseless. Okay? So basically, you just have nothing protecting anymore, so all it takes now is a 1 mortal wound card to kill the person. So a standard attack card, even if it's like what was traditionally a valid one, is not going to do the job. You're going to need that mortal wound card, that little Grim Reaper card we talked about, to take somebody out. And it has to be a valid wizard type as well. So in this case, let's just use the Dragonflaw since we have it out. Earth Wizard played this card on me. This permanently kills me. I have nothing to stop it with. No defense spells. Nothing I can do. So I'm finally dead and I'm out of the game. So I just take my cards, send over. I put the mortal wound card, leave it on top there, just kind of remind people that I'm out, so they don't try and accidentally attack me again. I take my 5 cards. I don't discard them. I keep them here. And the reason why is a chance that somebody resurrects me as a zombie. So, in Grimoire quests, when a player dies, another player has the opportunity to cast what's called the Necromancer Spell. This card is found in the deck. If they find this and they play this during their attack turn, on a defeated player, they will resurrect that player back as their personal zombie minion. Okay? So what that means is, let's say the Fire Wizard played it, play the Necromancer card, I can go ahead and toss out that Mortal Wound card. And I'll lay that there. Okay? And move these out of the way, this is just there for demo. Now, all of my original attack cards come back into play. So what are the roles of the zombie? The zombie's only job is to attack other players on behalf of the person that sired them, their master, so to speak. So, the zombie does not cast spells. The zombie does read narration cards, though. The zombie has all the same roles, position-wise, in the game as before. So, the narration card still moves around and stops with the zombie. Okay? We recommend, in our own house, we like to have fun, that when the zombie reads the narration card, they do a zombie voice. So, that's up to you. Have fun. So, well, since the zombie can't cast spells, what does the zombie do with their spell cards? Do they throw them away and draw new cards? No, they do not. Essentially, it's kind of meant to be a minor disadvantage. If a zombie draws a spell card, it just takes up a slot in their capacity. So, reducing their options, which makes it a little, fair for everyone else. However, if a zombie, just like anybody else, if it cannot make any move whatsoever, there's not a card to be played, no attack that's an option, the hand goes into a discard pile and redraws 5 new cards, okay? Now, another part of the zombie saga, there's what's known as the Puppet Master card. This card is a spell that can be cast by another player to steal another wizard's zombie minion. So in this case, I am the zombie that belongs to the Fire Wizard, but the Earth Wizard cast the spell of Puppet Master on me. Now, I obey this person, this wizard, and I turn on my master, so to speak. So that's one part that's kind of fun. Other question is, what if a zombie draws a Master Grimoire page and finds pages of Grimoire? Does the zombie keep them? No, he does not. He turns those over to whomever is his current sire, or current master. So now in this case, I would give it to the Earth Wizard, if I had drawn that. One last thing to talk about with the zombie element. There is one more unique instant play card known as the Resurrection Card. This card is the only card that you don't have to play instantly if you draw it, unless you are a zombie. 2 ways to use this. If you had this in your hand when you fell originally, and another player resurrects you with the Necromancer card, making you a zombie, the moment that happens, which would backfire on them, you would declare that you've had the Resurrection card and you fell with this, and this activates, and now you are a real boy or girl again. You are back in the game. The Resurrection card lets the zombie choose one relic of the remaining fallen ones, not one of the permanently broken ones, to restore. Just one. You obviously want to choose your most, your highest one. In this case, the Grimoire for the War is the highest. That comes back into play. Your original cards come back into attack form, and you take your position in the same order that's currently in play. Okay. So you can't hang on to that and hold on to it. I mean, if you get Resurrectness in your hand, you play it. The other option is if the zombie draws this card, they come back into the game just the same. Okay, that nice and clear? Great. Okay, the next important thing I want to discuss is the Grimoire Pages. In the game, there are 2 pages, or what I call a chapter, for each wizard. There are 2 fire, there are 2 water, 2 shadow cards, light, earth, sky, and so on. These are hidden throughout the game. If you complete a chapter by collecting both matching pairs, you acquire new skills. So in this case, let's say I am the water wizard. I collected both fire Grimoire pages, the Master Grimoire fire pages. If I have these in my possession and laid out before me, these give me the ability to now be immune to fire attacks. And that's the same for everything. So every time you collect a pair, you become immune to that type of attack. So no longer can anyone use a fire card to attack me or a water card because I'm the water wizard. In addition to that, let's say you collect your own set. Well, you're already immune to this. I'm already immune to water attacks. So what good does this do me to collect them? What this does, if you collect your own matching pair, now all of your attacks of when you use water cards, so in this case, every time I use a water card now to attack somebody with, that face value will be double. Even if it's a 3-pointer, no matter what I do with it, it is going to be worth 6 points. And again, remember, I can't use that in conjunction with any other doubling factor. If it's around because of narration or a special spell card or a booster, nothing doubles more than once. Okay? The last thing I want to discuss are the Master Relics. Now, they're called relics, but they're a little different from your standard relics that you start the game with. There are 3 types here. There's the Cedric's Armor, the Excalibur Sword, and Mathos Wand. Okay? Each one does something different. All 3 require a choice. You have the choice of permanently breaking one of your relics of your choosing. So obviously you'd probably choose your weakest one. And in exchange, you can claim this relic as a part of a new advantage in the game. So your option is if you can take these into your possession, or let's say it's late in the game and you don't have a lot to sacrifice, and you really don't want to permanently break a relic. Let's say it's your last one even. You can choose to just lose your turn instead. So it's a choice. You have to make one or the other. So if you choose to keep it, you'll sacrifice a relic and make those that change to your game style. Now, these are different because they don't replace a relic necessarily, and there's no need to attack these relics. Nobody can attack these. There's nothing in breaking them. This is just a new advantage that you have until you die. And when you die, whoever kills you, they can claim these and take them with you, just like your Grimoire pages. So, a couple things I want to just go over though about these, so there's no confusion. For instance, Excalibur, what it says is that all of your single hit cards are now going to do double damage. Okay? So any card that does one hit of damage will now do 2. For instance, this Harpy card does 1 damage. So here's where people have a problem. Let's say another player has Cedric's Armor. This card makes you immune to any single hit attack card. Okay. So that means I can't play a single hit attack card on Cedric's Armor. But the Excalibur means this is worth two attacks. So can I play this? The answer is no. The face value of this card defines it as a single hit card. The fact that it can do double damage is irrelevant in this case. These cards can never touch Cedric's Armor, no matter what the case is. These are all worthless to have against whoever has Cedric's Armor. Okay? So that's how that works. Now, people say, well, but it does 2 damage. Doesn't matter. You have to use a true 2-hit attack card like the Minotaur Hunt, where it's 2 points. That you can, and above, you can use to attack someone with Cedric's armor. So that's basically it. The game continues until all players have all their relics destroyed, have all been struck down with a mortal wound, and only 1 player remains standing. An alternative way of winning is if 1 player collects all 12 pages of Master Grimoire as an instant victory. The game ends right then and there. It doesn't matter if people are still alive. It doesn't matter if they have a great card to like value out of. If that person picks up all 12, they have completed the book, and they are the new supreme ruler of the land of Remora. Guys, thanks again for watching. Thank you for buying the game. Thank you for playing it. I really hope you enjoy it. I hope you'll check out my next game that I'm working on right now that will be announced probably spring, summer this year. But hopefully it'll be into its final stages of development next Christmas, next fall, Christmas time. And until then, thank you and have fun.